Welcome to First Impressions. My name is Carl Lee.
And I'm Jaysen Headley.
So, this week we're going to be reviewing 3 comics, and maybe even Arrow, right? So, this week we're going to do Futures End #1 by DC Comics, Ultimate Spider-Man #1, Miles Morales #1, Marvel, and Boom Studios, The Woods by James Tynion. So they're all #1s this week. So let's start real quick with Futures End #1. The cover. What do we think?
I mean, I thought it was a little bit busy. There's a lot of things going on and a lot of different angles. And I think for me, and we'll get into it with the story, but that kind of for me reflects a lot of what's going on later on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I like the font. I really like this. I really like the logo.
Okay.
I think that's pretty cool.
Just pink in it.
Yeah.
I love that Grifter's on it. I love that he's
all
on
it
it.
took.
In fact, I don't know if because I didn't have my glasses on, but I didn't even notice Batman Beyond at first, and I like Firestorm's new costume. Okay, and then let's touch on the art. What do you think about the art in this issue?
The artwork, well, I think we even talked about this a little bit while we were reading it. It felt a little inconsistent. There were times where it actually seemed like a different artist, even though the entire issue was done by one artist.
Yeah.
But I want to agree that I loved Firestorm's new outfit. And I thought that, because obviously this is taking place 5 years from now, I liked the little subtle differences they did to show that the time had progressed. I think the artwork there was really good. But yeah, a little inconsistent for me. There were times where I loved the art and times where I was like, ooh, that's a little sloppy.
Art by Patrick Zurcher. I actually thought it was 2 different arts. At first, I thought the art in the beginning didn't really seem like him. And then later on, when it shifted to, I believe, Grifter, I thought it did for some reason. So for me, I felt like the art seemed a little rushed for his work because I love his work. I can normally pick it out and be like, oh, that's him, you know. And so I felt it was a little rushed, and there was one panel I was like, what's that? I couldn't really understand what it was. It's near the beginning where it looked like, I guess now I'm looking at it, it's Batman Beyond's fist going through this robot's head.
Yeah, it's still
I didn't really know that was what it was at first. Let's see, anything else about art?
No, that's all my first impressions.
I think Grifter should have looked cooler.
Okay.
No, but I mean, I love Grifter, so.
Story?
See. Yeah, let's do
Story
that.
and writing. I think my overall feeling for this entire issue was inconsistency, because the other thing that I felt about the story and writing was, first of all, there were times, again, that I really loved Grifter's intro. Like, I'll give it to them. That was my favorite scene of the whole thing, was how they introduced his character. Mm-hmm. But there were so many scenes, like, this could have easily been 5 mini-comics not connected to each other, and I wouldn't have known. Like, there was nothing connecting any of these scenes together for me. Like, it was just a bunch of random scenes. And I'm sure that as we get into further into Futures End, they're going to connect them all, and it's going to be fine. But as a first issue, there was nothing connecting any of the scenes together for me. And that kind of bugs me a little bit, that I can go from one scene that's really cool with Grifter to another scene with Firestorm, and there's nothing even remotely linking them together, and that bothers me a little bit.
It bothered you.
Yeah, a little bit.
I guess for me, because it's the first issue, I heard that they rewrote it a bunch of times as well as the 0 issue, and I think that's part of the mystery of not knowing how any of this fits together.
Yeah.
I guess for me, it's not so horrible. I liked how all the characters were pretty much handled.
Yeah.
The Firestorm characters, what are their names? Jaysen and...
And, the other one.
Oh, yeah, the other one.
No, I liked all the scenes
Raymond.
individually. I just didn't really love them as one book.
And so I liked how, they're showing how they've grown a little bit. I guess,
I really liked that.
5 years or whatever. Let's see, what else story-wise? I actually thought it was really fun. I love that Stormwatch was in it. But, you know what I didn't like? Is that I don't believe that Stormwatch could have been defeated so easily, considering, yes, they were the first line of defense secretly for the planet Earth since the Dark Ages. Yet, what's going on?
Well,
oh
that just
God.
shows how amazing this threat is.
No, but they seemed totally incompetent. They had no rules of engagement that they would follow for any type of threat. You know what I mean?
They seemed really surprised they were being attacked.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we were just chilling on the beach and then this thing came up. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? Like, they seemed really
Yeah.
kind of brand new and fresh to
Yeah.
this, which they shouldn't have been. They should have been like on top of it, but then maybe gotten defeated anyway because the threat was so huge.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the ending. What did you think about the ending?
It was a good twist. It was a good twist, and I feel like DC and Marvel do that a lot, where they're like, I can't believe, and then you turn the page, and then, that this character is dead. So it wasn't like, I won't say what character died, because I'm sure we'll spoil it at some point, but who cares?
I guess it already was. I already read about it before.
Yeah,
right?
But for me, like, that twist has been done a million times before, but I thought it was a cool character to see dead, especially given how much DC has kind of put into that character as of late. So
I'm sure he's not gonna be
right,
dead,
and like
dead.
Future's End is not an end all. I mean, they're trying to change this future, so
yeah, but it wasn't. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I liked what it was supposed to say about Jaysen and Raymond.
yeah, it was effective.
Okay, so you got a rating for us, 1 through 10?
I gave it a 7.5. Yeah, I know it's a little harsh, but like I said, as pieces, there were a lot of great pieces to this book for me, but nothing in it really fit together. The art didn't fit together for me. The story itself was like great scenes, but they didn't connect at all, which kind of bothered me. And I don't know, this cover, I do like the grifters on it, but again, there's like 20 different things going on that matter nothing to each other on the cover, and that bothers me. And that's like a theme for the issue. Look at all these things that don't matter to each other.
That's okay.
Future's
look at
End
the Star
number
Wars
1.
posters.
All right.
But Ryan Sook. Okay, I forgot to mention about the cover. I love, he's great. His grifter is awesome. My rating, I'm going to say in general, I almost generally rate everything very, very similarly when they all align to the fact that I generally like the art. The storyline is actually pretty decent, enough so that I would want to buy it. Is normally an 8.5 for that. Anything less, I might just get digital or not read or not buy. Anything more is a definite. Okay, so
you gave this an 8.5?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay, cool. Okay.
All right, our next book, Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man, #1, Bendis and Marquez.
Yeah.
Oh, and Justin Ponzer
On
colors.
art. Yeah.
Cover.
Okay, I swear to God, Marvel, if I see this cover one more time, I am going to write you a letter. This cover you've done in Ultimate X-Men, you've done in Ultimate Thor. I have seen this cover 1,000 times just with a different character. Stop it. I am bored of this cover. If I have to see one more character looking off into the distance from behind, I mean, they better be naked next time, that's all I'm saying.
Well,
that's my feeling on that cover.
I guess I hadn't noticed that, but I thought it's very classic, and I really like
Classic,
the cover.
that's another word.
Yeah, I kind of really love it. It's just very simple, classic, and it's were all those other ones in the at night.
Yeah, they were exactly like this, just different. I mean, they weren't Spider-Man, but they were the same idea.
All right, how about the fart art?
I love the art. I really, really like Marquez's art. This is an art style that is I very much love. I mean, it mirrors Sarah Pacelli very much, and she's one of my absolute favorites. So I mean, the art for me was the high point of this issue. Like, I loved the artwork. Loved it.
I said that it was very nice. It's very, very nice, and I actually believe that somehow he stepped up his game from the previous Ultimate Spider-Man. I think his art's actually better than it was previously. I don't know if it's Justin Ponzer. I don't know if Justin Ponzer colored the other one. I can't remember.
He did some of them.
I kind of believe that he probably did, but something's different that's making it, I don't know, better somehow. Maybe he's inking over himself. So I think the art's very good, very nice, very nice. I gave that an 8. I did that separately. Storyline writing.
Well, okay, so I do like. I mean, I've always liked Bendis' writing, and I especially have always liked how he writes Ultimate Spider-Man. But I think for me, the biggest problem for me with this issue, story-wise, is why is it a #1? There's nothing about this other than that it's a new arc. But just because it's a new arc does not need to make it #1. There was nothing else about this. Like, you could have easily read through the old Ultimate Spider-Man and then read this issue, not knowing it was a #1. It would never have been like, wow, this is so new and different. They should have just made it a new #1. Like, you never would have said that because nothing has changed. No time has really passed. It's the same characters, the same story. It's just a new arc. And as a new arc, like, it was interesting. I'm interested to see what happens next, but it wasn't so life-changing that, like, when they when they went from Ultimate Universe and then Ultimatum, which was terrible, to the new Ultimate Spider-Man, like, that felt like there should be a new number one. Like, 6 months had passed, a lot had changed, the artist was different for the first time in a long time. Like, that felt like a good place to have a number one. This, I just don't, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me why there's a new number one.
Well, you know, Marvel's whole new push of doing new number ones for new creative teams and arcs, and I understand that. I think that it makes sense to kind of do it like, not just seasons, but like miniseries after miniseries, just the new jumping on points instead of 1 to issue 1,000. I kind of understand that. It kind of brings in new people to be able to try something again if they gave up on it before, but it does dilute the well, it doesn't make number one so important anymore.
Right.
It doesn't make it such a big deal anymore, so it's no longer, you know, it has no longer that magic feeling of, oh my god, number one. Though this does a little bit for me in the sense that because it's Miles Morales, it's starting with him again with number one. He's not coming off the back end of Peter Parker dying and then taking over the title. He is now
yeah, that's
the
true.
title.
That's true.
So I was like, okay, all right. But otherwise, yeah, there's no time passed, and I read Ultimate Spider-Man previously, and I didn't finish the storyline. I ended up dropping it once it started crossing over with the Ultimates and all these other characters into whatever that last storyline was. I started getting less interested, and so I like coming on to this, having that be in the past, and kind of starting out a little bit fresh again. It's not really new again, but it's a nice reintroduction for me. A nice reintroduction for somebody who read it and maybe gave up at the end. But I don't know how great it is for someone who's never read it. I think it might be okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
I think you could easily jump on here.
I mean, I think it's a very enjoyable book to read. I really liked it.
What did you think? I mean, should we... I don't want to spoil it, but what did you think of the ending cliffhanger?
I'm really curious, but I think it's a fake out.
I agree. I think it's a fake out. But
Yeah.
it was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Cool. Rating?
I just also want to say that I loved that scene with Mary Jane. I thought it was good.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, I thought that whole comparison of, you know, revealing that you're a superhero coming out to whoever you're with is kind of like marriage. And that it's very important. It's like...
That was definitely the high point of the issue.
Yeah, I like that. I gave
Very
that itself an 8.5.
Oh,
the
you gave that scene an 8.5.
So overall, I actually gave it a 9.
Oh, okay. I gave it an 8.5, and most of that was because of that scene in particular, and because of the artwork. Because I love the artwork so much.
Yes.
The artwork for me is a 9 by itself.
Yeah.
But the number one takes down at least a half a point, so.
Well, so, good job. All right.
Good job. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Boom Studios, The Woods. I believe this is the first James Tynion for...
Yeah, I've never
himself,
read.
right?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever read.
It's like his own series.
Yeah.
Cover.
I like the cover. It's again, I really like the font. I like the letterhead. It's pretty cool. And good colors. I wish there was a little bit more character in the cover, since character seems to be such an important part of this story. But it's cool. I mean, it definitely, when you go into the comic store and you see this on the shelf, everything about that cover made me want to pick it up. Like, really? I definitely wanted to see what was going on in that book.
No.
No? Not for you?
Maybe the yellow and green. I like that. But other than that, the cover didn't do much for me. I'm not interested in the cover. In that part, it failed.
Okay. Artwork?
The artwork. I like the artwork. A lot of times I feel like if the story's good, it makes me like the artwork better, or more rather. I don't know why that is. That happened with me with originally with Stormwatch and Frank Quietly. I thought his art was ugly, but then because I love the story so much, it grew on me and became the character of the story. It became everything.
Yeah.
So I believe it fit the story very, very well. I felt like it told the story very well. It was easy to follow, so I liked the art. I'm glad that it was the way it was, a little bit slightly cartoony.
Yeah. I like the art a lot too. I thought it was very dark. It was very moody. It was definitely creepy. It definitely showcases this world very well. Like, it's easy to look at this world and get an idea of why they're so terrified in this world.
Dark.
Because it's dark and it's got a really good vibe to it. And And even though it's kind of cartoony and cutesy, like when people started getting killed, like it still looked good, even when there was like blood flying all over the place. So yeah, I liked it a lot.
So story, I thought it was excellent. I thought it was awesome how he was able to introduce so many characters, one after other, so seamlessly. Like, it was so smooth, and nothing seemed super forced, and there's some good characterizations for some lead characters, I thought. I don't know, it totally drew me in. I loved the characters, and there's so many of them, and it totally jumped right into whatever the premise is. It felt like a movie or a TV show, a CW TV show with lots of kids in it. You know, like, it seemed like a very young, new, fresh idea, a book, and I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. I loved it. I loved the story. I agree with everything you said. The characters are great. The way they were introduced was fantastic. Everything about the story, like, you already have a lot of questions, but it's not for me like a Morning Glories where all you have is questions. You, like, leave that book thinking, what did I just read? What's going on? Like, this, you actually had a little bit of an idea of what was going on because you could grasp the characters. Like, you knew where the characters were coming from. Yeah. And so that made the questions of the world. It wasn't like, I don't know who any of these characters are, and I don't know what's going on, because that's how Morning Glories was for me when I read it. But this is like, you can really get behind these characters, so you are asking the questions about the world with them, which I think is really exciting.
Yeah, the characters are awesome.
They're great. I think maybe if I had one complaint about this book, it's that there were times where I felt like it almost moved too fast. Like, there were times where it was like, whoa, we're already going, like, we're already on the adventure. No, but I think that's a good thing, especially for a comic book. Like, in 22 pages, you just gotta move it. And they did, and that was great.
James, good job, because this is what I talk about when, like, first issues, first impressions, what are you going to do to bring people back on something that's brand new that has no brand backing it outside of Boom and your own name. I think it's an excellent example of a first issue.
Yeah, you know? I definitely want to read the second. I definitely want to know what happens next.
Yeah, man.
What'd you rate it?
Again, 9.5.
I gave it a 9.5 as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I really, really, really liked it. It was awesome.
Good job, guys.
So Boom, way to kick the DC and Marvel book that we read this week in the end.
Yeah, good job.
It was awesome.
I was impressed.
We're going to show just a few other things that we picked up this week so you can see our full pull, because we did obviously pick up more than 3 books.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, if you read any of these 3 books, if you only read one of them even, let us know what you guys thought in the comments down below. We would love to know your first impressions. We'd love to know if you think that, you know, do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Do you think we're crazy wrong? Do you think Grifter's the coolest character ever? Let us know in the comments, like and subscribe, but let's let you know what we pulled this week.
Alright, we missed last week's Batman Eternal 4, so I just got this, and number 5 as well.
Yeah, we just moved, by the way, so we're kind of playing with new studio space, so woo!
Yeah. I am an old fan of Chaos, so I had to pick the first issue, Tim Seeley, J. Scott Campbell cover. Anyways, I'm an old fan, so I kind of picked it up blindly. So this is a impulse buy, based on brand, really. Let's see, Flash Annual 3, I got, well, because I'm following the new Flash thing, I bought issue 30. I'm not caught up with Flash. I'm actually catching up with it right now, and I love the idea of this Wally West and Brett Booth. So I'm jumping on board right away, blindly, and see what happens there. This is something I subscribe to, and I'm very far behind, actually. Green Arrow 31, so buying blindly.
I'm also going to cut in and say we also digitally are getting Iron Fist #2 as well as Silver Surfer #2. Yes. So those won't be in here, but those will also be 2 books that we'll be kind of reading as we go. So.
And a lot of hype about this book. So
the comic book store had a little tag that said competition for best book of the year. So how are we not going to get it?
Yeah, I mean, Jaysen Aaron, I've liked a lot of his work, so this is his own book. So it's impulse / blindly buying. So maybe we'll review that later. I don't know. I just had to pick this up. I actually really like Dan Slott's Amazing Spider-Man, but I'll tell you this, I haven't been on top of it, so I kind of dropped off. I actually didn't read the majority of Superior Spider-Man, even though I know it's very good, I'm sure. But I just had to pick this up. So this is Impulse Spy / buying blindly, and of course, the number one always helps. But
But see, this number one makes a little bit more sense.
But then, how much longer can these number ones really help? Because that eventually, number one is just gonna be another number one.
Also, I don't. If you haven't picked up this book yet, this book is massive. It's like a trade paperback. Like it's a massive book, and we were really surprised that Marvel only charged $6 for it. They didn't charge $10, which is what I was thinking already.
And of course, this is a blind purchase of Snyder's Week, just because I'm not caught up with this either. But I'm buying.
Have you read any of it yet? I haven't read any of it yet.
I think I read the first issue. Oh my god, that's so embarrassing.
Well, I haven't read any of it yet. I want to. I love Snyder a lot. So
yeah, ditto.
Cool. Any last things you want to talk about?
No, but maybe we'll be back to review Arrow.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to watch Arrow tonight and then review that and let you guys know what we think.
All right, thanks for watching.
See you next time.